This is a clip from the Cannon podcast. To hear the full episode and get access to exclusive benefits, head over to patreon.com/thecannonpod and sign up for just £3 a month.
We're going to start off with links to Ilkay Gündogan, captain of Man City, available potentially on a free transfer. If he is to leave City, the teams that are after him right now seem to be Arsenal and Barcelona. Now, the reports are coming from David Ornstein, so they are as reliable as it gets. And on a free transfer, I think it makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, at 32 years of age, you've always got to be a bit careful. Would you guys take Ilkay Gündogan at Arsenal? Of course, with Granit Xhaka set to leave to replace the experience, if we sign Gündogan, that's a captain there. That's the captain of Man City and a captain of a potential treble-winning side, available for a free transfer. Surely then it would be a bit of a no-brainer?
I think from Arsenal's perspective, it's a no-brainer. I just don't know from Ilkay Gündogan's perspective if it's a no-brainer. And that's where I think the issue becomes, because when you kind of remove Granit Xhaka from the dressing room, I've talked about it, in previous podcasts, where are you replacing the experience? And you're talking about a player that has experienced not just as a captain, as you said, Bhavs, but also in terms of the Champions League. How many players in this current Arsenal squad have previous sample of play in Europe to a high level and at the Champions League level? It's very minimal. And we talked about how experience was a big reason for maybe derailing our impact on the title season. Despite us not maybe giving the best platform to succeed, experience in those key moments also had a factor. And so from an Arsenal perspective, you look at Ilkay Gündogan and you go all day, every day. Why wouldn't you take him? He offers, versatility in different roles. He also is at an age that I don't think is prohibitive to some of the talents that we have coming through. We don't need youngsters in that department. We're young in midfield. We're replacing the experience. That's something that I always kind of laugh at on Twitter when people talk about us really hammering home that youth project. We've got a youth. We've got too much youth in the midfield. We need to replace some senior figures there. But from Ilkay Gündogan's perspective, can he offer maybe a better contract, in a better climate and a less relaxed environment, potentially? Does he want to compete at the highest level? Do City want to compete with him? That's another thing that I'm not too sure that maybe, Arsenal can satisfy. And, if he was to go maybe, let's say, between Barcelona, Arsenal, and you talk about these debates about which project is better, maybe, Arsenal's project is a little bit less playing time. Does he want that? Does he have a bit of the Granit Xhaka in him where he still feels that he's a capable starter? And if you recruit a Declan Rice, in addition to Thomas Partey, in addition to Ilkay Gündogan, can you promise game time amongst Martin Odegaard in that equation? You're dealing with egos there. And while in a squad building sense, from a fan perspective, you football manager this and you go, oh yeah, he would be comfortable sitting on the bench. It'd be a great option. Yes, I understand that. But from a player perspective, players don't look at that and say, that's something that I want to do. And so it would be a tough sell. I think Arsenal would love it. I don't know if Ilkay Gündogan would love it himself.
What about you, Alex?
I think we're being used. I think this is a agent ploy. I think when you say Ornstein is reliable, what that makes me feel is, yeah, he is reliable. He's probably spoken directly to Ilkay Gündogan's agent. So look, do I love the player? Absolutely. Do I think he's an amazing profile, someone who I would love in our midfield, so intelligent, coach on the pitch, perfectly replacing Xhaka, as George has outlined in terms of the age profile, love it. Why on earth he would come, I don't know. Because what has he got left? Is he going to get more money at Arsenal? Probably not. Is he going to win more Premier Leagues at Arsenal? Okay, even if he does, how many Premiers has he got now? 5? Is he going to win the Champions League at Arsenal? Well, if he wins it at City, he doesn't need to do that. I think this is a ploy to get himself a better contract at City, because also it's like hitting City where it hurts, right? Like they knew last summer that Zinchenko and Jesus went and they made Arsenal better. They don't want him to go to Arsenal. They'll offer him that extra year or extra 20 grand or whatever he wants. Or he's using us to get a contract out of PSG or out of Barcelona. So, I don't know, but I just can't see it happening. If Gündogan did, it would be like a really pretty girl dating a really average dude. It's like, okay, why?
Hey, you gotta respect Arsenal. What's this about? We're not average. We're not Man United here.
We're not average. We're not average. But you know what I mean? It's that thing of like, yeah, but you just won 5 Prems in 6 years. Like what? Yeah, what?
It's the Arsenal. Maybe it's the aura. It's the club.
Do you know what I prefer? I prefer as the analogy. It's like a 4th year university girl going out with a 1st year.
Yes,
There's nothing
okay,
wrong
that's
with
better.
it.
That's better. Yeah.
She's got potential. She's going to come up.
Yeah.
But then, like, why would I do
Yeah.
that if I've got the fourth year options? You know, like, I mean, it's possible. It's just stigmatized. And you know what? Again, ignoring the jokes on dating advice, that's not the podcast. But I think, like, ultimately, Ilkay Gündogan right now is kind of somebody that's 31 years of age. He still has, objectively, 2 years at the top of his game. He's not a player that relies on pace. When you look at what he offers in the team, he still is performing just as effortlessly as he did when he came in. So I think the quality isn't the concern. The one question you have to ask yourself, and I hate to bring it back to the boy, but you know you're spending almost 90 million pounds on a certain Basmati, and you're going to integrate Gündogan, him, Partey, and Odegaard. Like, where are the minutes being shared there? And that's not to say that, oh, George, are you saying that he doesn't get minutes at City or at Arsenal, but he gets minutes at City? Well, no, it's just that there are less options for Manchester City. If you really look at it, like, I think their midfield is quite light if you really have a look. And, you have Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Gündogan. Then who's next? Calvin Phillips, Bernardo Silva at points. Like, Gündogan gets into that team a little bit more, whereas I think that the options that you start to look at for Arsenal, you have it a little bit more difficult to guarantee, I would say, 40 games, which is the minimum he would want.
He's starting at City. I think he's been on the bench at like 6. I think something like 6 games. He's played almost every minute in the Champions League. I don't get it. Also, Georgie's 32, so he's over the hill, and he's 32. He's 32. He totally turns 33. That's how it works.
Then, okay, cool. Gündogan is one of the number 8 profiles that Arsenal are being linked to. Now, you've also got Declan Rice, you've got Moses Caicedo. We've talked about those guys. There is one name in particular that might be available out of contract in 2025. Premier League proven. He's won the Champions League, got an assist in the final. He's at a decent age. I think he's 24, I want to say. And he plays for rivals. Well, technically rivals. They're actually mid-table right now. He plays for Chelsea. His name is Mason Mount. Number 8 profile. He's played out wide for Chelsea as well as a number 10. Mason Mount has been linked to Arsenal heavily by a lot of English sources. So maybe Arsenal like they're throwing their name into the ring and stuff. Do you guys, would you take Mason Mount at Arsenal? And if so, where would he fit into the team? We'll go with George first.
Thanks for checking out the Cannon Podcast. To get full episodes and access to exclusive benefits, head over to patreon.com/thecannonpod and sign up for just £3 a month.